What's up, everybody? It's your favorite jet combiner's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Fans Hobby Lernaean? I don't know, dude. But I know it's on loan to me from Lord Darktolf himself, which I do appreciate. He actually sent me the other jet, too. Weird thing about this, it doesn't have instructions in it, so I'm just trying to kind of figure it out. I think I've got the transformation figured out. Fans Hobby transformations are usually pretty simple and straightforward, which I definitely appreciate specifically in this case. But I'm having a really hard time figuring out how to combine it with the other jet that Lord Darktolf was pleasant and gracious enough to send along with this fella. So we're going to do the best that we can, given the tools that we have. But first, we're going to look at some of his tools, so to speak, namely his accessories. So he comes with two of these blasters. The handle folds down, he says, and the sculpt is decent. It looks very basic to me, which some of their stuff often does. So I get it that it kind of fits in aesthetically, but it doesn't do much for me personally. But you get two of these. They can attach to the jet underneath with a peg going into there, and he'll hold those with a groove down into the hand, typical kind of Fans Hobby, Fans Project, Make Toys style. You get this little fella here. It's so funny to me, like the head sculpt, I'm sure it's accurate or whatever, I don't really know much about it, but it looks so foreign to Transformers to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it looks like a completely different property. The little visor there is painted, as are the ears. No articulation on the head that I can see. With the shoulders on little ball pegs, they'll get you up to there and then around. So not the greatest, but something. We have a single hinged elbow. We have some silver paint there on the chest. We have these, they've done these before, a little black paint there on the elbow as well. We have these little, like, ball pegs that go into the hips, and then they come out the hinges, so they kind of act like universals. You can kind of, get it to do some kind of wonky-donkey stuff, if you so desire. And then a thigh swivel and a knee bend. Now, to transform it is pretty simple, just arms down by the side. You turn the leg so that it creates a little cavity for the fist to go in, and then the knee comes up and wraps around and pegs into the shoulder. And you do that on both sides. And then you have this. And then you can take the jet, you can open up these hatches here, and then you can insert that in, and now he's doing the thing, right? So, if I know that's a big deal to some folks. And the good news is it should do it, and it does. Now, he also comes with this, which is like another one, but with no arms or legs. I'm guessing that's to have a different option for one or the other. I'm sure somebody knows. Feel free to leave it in the comments. Before you leave it in the comments, check and see if somebody else has. But otherwise, like, that's the only thing I can think of that it is supposed to go with another piece. I don't know why they wouldn't give you extra arms and legs with it. Doesn't seem like too much to ask for. Pretty expensive piece, you know what I mean? I don't know. You get two of these, and what these are adapters for their flight stands, which are, of course, sold separately. Just gray plastic. And they tab in underneath here, one set there, and then the smaller set up here at the top. And then you connect the flight stands to it. And there it is in jet mode. And I think it looks pretty good. I actually have been looking a lot at this. I think some of this is more painted than it usually is. Like these, I'm not sure if that's a lubricant to like make the slider joint easy, or if it's paint because it's like reflecting a bit. Same with the gray here. But either way, it ends up looking good. The white paint is super sharp and clean. That does a lot. And this, like, I don't know, it's like a teal almost metallic paint underneath the cockpit here. It does a lot of favors for it as well. Silver paint there on the side, that looks good to me. Silver paint there on the back of the thrusters, that looks good to me. I think this is a really kind of sharp looking jet. It's a robot underneath, but I don't think it's completely awful. The arms are probably the most unsightly. I will show you a couple size comparisons and then one of the kind of features of it. So there it is by itself, right? There it is with its counterpart, which I think is a big deal to folks, and like I said, Darktolf was gracious enough to send that along, and we're going to try to figure out the combination. I'm not making any promises. If you see it, then it's here, and if you don't see it, it's probably going to end up on the bloopers on Patreon. But I do think they look good together. Now, I'll get him out of the way. I thought I lost Tiger Tracks. There he is with Tiger Tracks, to give you a point of reference. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to show you with this guy, and that is the landing gear. just how to get them out and put them away. So obviously there they are deployed. If you turn the rear ones towards the front, that will allow you to open up these little plates here, and then you can just fold them in and close it up. Same for the other side, obviously. And then for the front, it's the same, except it's a lot simpler because it just requires you to kind of do the typical fold up flap. It's just not a lot of room, you know what I mean? Like there's like, you know, it's perfect, but it's just tricky to kind of get to. And then you tuck that in and close it up, and now you're soaring through the skies, as it were. So yeah, let's get started. All right, let's get them transformed. So fillet these pieces open. I do that first just to, as I'm moving it around. It makes it a little bit easier for me. Unpeg the arms here. You can get those up and out of the way. And these wings, they unpeg and then slide up. Use a little bit of caution because there is a lot of stuff moving around. And then I think we can free this up here as well. So if you pull back on these purple wings, that would allow you to kind of like rotate these whole sections together to have a little bit more access here. You can even spread these out a bit. All right, let's see if we can get these legs. So you kind of gotta get that out, expand this, and then there's a series of flaps in here. But oh yeah, this slides down, and then let's see here, over, tight little hinges, man. Let me get a spudger. Open. There, that fills in that panel. And then you have your kind of here. This is the heel, I believe. If you open that up and then slide this down to the bottom, and then what am I not doing right here? Let me figure out what I'm doing wrong here. Okay, so this foot slides. That's my issue. Then you'll notice that you've got clearance there as you need it. And then obviously it's facing the wrong direction, so you sit it forward. I'm hoping that this one goes a bit smoother. Once again, no instructions, so I'm just kind of, in the words of Stevie Nicks, I'm doing the best that I can. Clear this, bring down the leg, and then we have a series of panels here. That, like, very similarly to the landing gear, like there's just barely enough room to get it out. Oh, because the slide, because I keep forgetting to slide. That's on me. Withdraw that criticism. All right. Then this comes out. This comes down. And once again, this opens up. There. Now we'll try to get the right this time. So slide the foot down, take your heel, bend it around, it slides. Good grief, man. To the opposite side, and then right, it sits like this, and then turn the thigh around so that it's facing the front. Peel back the canopy and get access to the chest here. you want to pull the chest away and then drop it down. There's a gray piece right here. You can just fold that in. You got to get access to this head here, so to speak. Get that up. And then you want to extend these chest pieces here, and I got news for you. They're no walk in the park either. They're on sliders, and as you can see, they're not the easiest to slide. I'll try to get them off camera. So I got it, and I'll have probably, I would bet that you're going to run into the same problem. If you have a spudger, where I had the most success was getting the spudger between these two pieces and then just turning this way, but it wasn't easy. All right, and then, oh no, you didn't just, okay. And then we're going to rock back up and tab in. And then we can turn the head around. And, oh, these hip skirts. So they come up. Oh, you know what? Let's separate the chest once again. And then now we can get access to the hip skirts. Peel those out. I'm usually a little better with instructions. All right. And then get that into place. All right. This step I shouldn't screw up, but, you know, and see, that just slid back in, dude. Yeah, I'm not messing with it. Shoulders down, extend, and then slide the blue piece up, shoulder down, extend, slide the blue piece up. Should be easier than what it is. All right, and then this last part, I don't know if I've got it, but it's the best I can figure out. So this purple wing, right, it needs to sit on the inside. So you need to kind of rotate this around the leg and then come back up. This series of hinges here will kind of allow you to get this in the right space, which is here. Now, there's this little tab here that folds out that's supposed to align with that little slot there. But the only way that I can figure out to get it there is to rotate on this hinge to bring this piece closer to the body, and then it would latch in. But then you have this wing sitting too far into this wing, so it won't close up right. So as far as, I don't know what to tell you. It seems like something should slide or something, but I can't seem, unless it's bending this frame, the whole frame, you know, because you could bend this in and try to attach it, you know, but I'm not comfortable doing that. So I don't know. And then you rock this wing back down and plug it in how it normally was in jet mode to begin with. So same on this side. You got to open this up, have that kind of go full circle around the leg. And then this comes up. And then this theoretically would grab a hold of there. But the only way that I can manage to do that would be to turn this too far inward where you couldn't move the wing. So I don't know what's going on there. And then bring that down, peg that in, and then that just sits against his back. And I mean, that's him in a nutshell. I'll clean him up. We'll take a look at him. So let's get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. You know, once again, like I'm sure it's accurate. it's just so far removed from like what Transformers looks like to me, you know, and kind of what to expect from them. Head is on a ball peg, and then the neck itself is connected to a hinge inside of the chest. Using both, you can get the head up a great range, so to speak, down, side to side, and confused look. The red, gold, and silver are painted on there, so no issues there. As for the chest, the silver is painted on. Obviously, this side is collapsed once again under the transformation, and like you could do the same thing on here, and I wish I could do something about it, but I'm tired of it. There is a waist swivel, but you've got so much kind of junk in the trunk, as it were, you can't really get much out of it. So not the best. Shoulders, we have these little flaps here. They'll get up and out of the way, so you can get a soft ratchet up to a bit beyond 90 degrees. You can also get the shoulders around until it bumps into the wings. Bicep swivel, single hinged elbow. That gets you 90 degrees. Wrist swivel. Fingers are individually articulated on a base pin knuckle and then a secondary knuckle. And a tertiary knuckle. And then the thumb is on a hinge and then has a swivel where it connects and then another knuckle. So fully articulated hands, for better or worse. We'll back out a bit. Take a look at these hips. Get these up out of the way. Once again, the red and silver paint look nice there. Try to get these up. These wings obviously rotate up. That one didn't plug in. And then rotates up so you can get 90 degrees out. So the full Van Damme. And then forward, no problem. Back, you're going to run into the junk in the trunk, but I think it would be more than you'll ever need. Thigh swivel, no paint on the thighs, decent sculpt work. Knees, ratcheted, nice ratchets too, for 90 degrees. Silver on the knees, silver there on the ankles, and then the ankles themselves, no real ankle tilt up or down. You do get a toe tilt, so that'll work. And then you get a toe rocker that cheats to make the rocker, so that's not the greatest either, but it'll do. And then this, yeah, ooh, dude, this is a rough one. And then there it is from the back, you know, not the most elegant, but I don't think it's trying to be either. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's trying to be elegant. So I guess it probably is doing what it's trying to do. Size comparison wise, there he is next to a Masterpiece Seeker. So about even keel. I'll show you. The head comes up to just about the forehead of the other one, so that's about what you should expect. All right, so let's try our hand at this, shall we? Once again, no instructions. I'm doing my best. From looking at pictures, it looks like with this one, all you have to do is bring up this rear end here, fold these two side pieces out, and then sort of sit it flat up against there. And that's done. And you're basically looking at those two connection points. Here, slightly more involved, but not really. Just bring up the whole front end, flip it over, and then these two pieces wrap around, and then plug in. And I don't know, maybe, and these two pieces split so that can sit in there. And then you're looking at these two connection points here with these two connection points, or two females here, and the wing sits right between those two kind of intakes. And I might have to get this off camera, but actually, you know what? Let's just open that up. I'll try to connect it and get back. Sorry. So I got it, but I'm going to show you what the problem is. And as you can see, I don't have this part connected because I'm like afraid that it will disconnect what I have connected. But I mean, there it is, right? You get the kind of general idea of it. You know what I mean? It's huge. There it is next to Tiger Tracks. I think it's somewhat cohesive. I think it roughly works. I'm going to try to plug in these like intakes here. And then if it all falls apart, yeah, I'm not going to get it. But I'll tell you why it's frustrating to kind of connect. So See this bend? All right. And look, it came, instead of disconnecting from the white piece, it ripped it off the C-clip here. You know, this thing has a lot of problems, dude. But the problem is with this, let me get this off of here, is that, so this piece clips onto here, right? And then as you go to put pressure on to connect, this has a tendency to like wiggle up and down, and the amount of force it takes to get these kind of like clamps around it is significant, and it has a tendency to just want to move away from itself, and that's part of the problem in the connection. And then of course disconnecting it, as you can see, is a problem as well. So it's just another thing about this that just doesn't quite work right, in my opinion. Final thoughts wise, we'll start with the negatives. I am going to be a little bit lenient because there is no instructions, and I may have gotten something wrong. As you saw, I struggled a couple times. I was just looking at pictures and trying to make it happen. But one thing I can say, independent from instructions or no instructions, are tolerances. Those specifically on the slider joints. They're obnoxious. In fact, there's very few that work well at all. Now, they'll probably loosen up over time and get better, no doubt about it. But I'm not reviewing this figure over time. I'm reviewing it right out of the box. And right out of the box, it's a frustrating experience, mainly due to the sliders. I also don't know what's going on with that backpack. I feel like something's not quite right with it. I'm not sure if it's me or them, but something is definitely going on with it. Typical other fans hobby stuff, like I wish there was more paint, even though I think there's a little bit more here than usual, and I do think it adds something to it. I wish there were more stuff on the gun, stuff like that, stuff that would really bring it to life, but nothing new there. Kind of your kind of run-of-the-mill fans hobby criticisms. I also should mention, like, you know, there's a lot of limited articulation, 90-degree elbows, 90-degree knees, barely any waist swivel, stuff like that. Even the ankles are kind of cheats. Like, ugh, it's a rough one, man. I'm trying to think about something good. So I think they used more paint than usual, and the paint is sharp and clean throughout. There's some tight line work here paint-wise, and it's pretty on point. The materials feel good, and a lot of the kind of hard ratchets work really well. And that's all I got, man. I think some stuff in the jet looks cool. I like the way they did the landing gear. I like the way they did the kind of cockpit underneath the translucent plastic. All that stuff looks good. But yeah, I think this one proportionately looks better than the previous one, but I think the previous one is more effective as a piece overall. Does that make sense? So that's about all I got. It's not a recommend from me, buddy. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. What a way to bring in the new year.